As you've heard, affirmative action is a set of policies that works to actively include minority groups in public institutions, where they had been historically underrepresented before due to past discrimination. The Fisher versus University of Texas case aims to bring affirmative action to an end in the college admissions process nationwide. In the Associated Press video, SB Wu claims that affirmative action isn't benefiting Asian Americans during the college admissions process. He says it's systematically holding them to higher standards than other racial groups in terms of SAT test scores. If that's the case, I'd argue that the higher standard has nothing to do with affirmative action, but everything to do with perception. Specifically, the fairly new stereotype known as the model minority myth, in which Asian Americans are seen as overachievers who are expected to perform at higher levels. If this perception is corrected, then Asian Americans can become beneficiaries of affirmative action. The problem facing Asian Americans is not the policy of affirmative action, but the misimplementation of it. Wu's argument assumes that there is a set quota for all minority groups, in which case the acceptance of a non-Asian minority student would result in the displacement of a seat for an Asian American student. However, any system implementing a minority quota would be illegal, and therefore doesn't exist. Thus, that point is rendered irrelevant. The Asian Law Caucus supports affirmative action because they recognize that while Asians may not be underrepresented in colleges any longer, they are still underrepresented in leadership positions in their work. This graph, taken from SB Wu's own 80-20 initiative site, shows that Asian Americans have the smallest chance of advancing to management positions when compared to other racial groups. He goes on to compare the struggles of Asian Americans in gaining managerial positions with those that women faced in the mid-20th century. He states, in 1965, Executive Order 11246 was issued and subsequently enforced by the Labor Department in order to give women a fair chance at becoming managers. Women rose to the challenge. The same will be true for Asian Americans. While not stating it explicitly, by tying Asian American struggles in upward mobility to women's struggles and showing that women were helped by legislation, he is implicitly saying that Asian Americans should also be helped by some sort of anti-discrimination legislation. However, his argument loses validity when you recall that he's not in favor of anti-discrimination legislation in higher education. By selectively choosing when to integrate based on race and when not to, SB Wu is hurting both causes. Overall, I believe Asian Americans can be helped by affirmative action in both higher education and in the workplace.